285, and he's going to need a heavyweight punch today if he's going to take out the 13th seed. And a quick example of the quick serve.
Yeah, 217 kilometers an hour straight off the bat. Yeah, that's plenty of pace.
In my household, that's known as two pechis. So the one thing that he can use very effectively today is that big serve on the ad side into the Rublev backhand, who predominantly, and I say almost exclusively, will hit that backhand return cross court, and he can get his forehand, or as we've just heard from Pedro, the backhand into play early.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me about Faria's serve, we see one at 218 there. You know, it's big. But it, you know, 3 flat serves straight off the bat to start the match. So, you know, pace alone won't be enough against a player of Rublev's quality. He's going to have to be accurate with it, consistent. And that was, you know, a point that he's lost, but an interesting mix straight away. 161 kilometers an hour with the first serve. So, putting a bit of thought and variety, I think that could be important for him over the course of best of 5. I think if you just serve big and flat, you know, Rublev will find his rhythm sooner rather than later. Very aggressive returner, Andrey Rublev. Actually played against him in doubles when he was young, and I just remember thinking, if I don't hit a really high quality serve here, whether it's to the forehand, the backhand, the body, but if it doesn't hit the spot, I'm in trouble, because he is swinging.
You're not in trouble, your partner's in trouble.
Well, yeah. Hospital pass.
Yeah, and there is an argument to say that over the course of the last few years, trying to figure out a way to block a few more returns for Rublev would have been against the bigger servers. We're seeing a lot more carpet bombers out there on the tour these days.
Can I put it on the fridge?
He could maybe just get the ball underneath the net a little bit more, but you're absolutely right. He is going to look to lean on the returns if he's given a chance, but that is a consistent amount of pace that has just come off Faria's racket. Rublev, understandably, on the win predictor is about 70-30. I don't think we're going to disagree with that. At times, the win predictor can certainly give you a couple of numbers that allows you to debate the narrative, but that seems about spot.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough to start with. We'll keep an eye on it throughout. It's a good game for Faria. You know, as an underdog, the early stage is always important to settle, get into the match, and you know, no sign of any real nerves bothering him there. So that was a positive game.
Andrey Rublev to serve.
One of the best three-quarter length forehands in the game.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, talking a lot about Faria's serve, but Rublev, you know, understandably the forehand gets the attention, but he's a big server. The first serve is a real weapon.
If there's one area that Faria struggles a little bit, I think his explosive movement left to right on the lateral. I think he moves okay. I don't think he moves great, and I think that with the way that Rublev moves the ball around the court, we're going to see him struggle to stay in some of those exchanges.
Yeah, for Faria, agree. Yeah, tough for him as Rublev attacked into the corner there.
And the other thing, I actually personally, having watched Faria play a bit, would like to see him start back where the Melbourne sign is on the court. I would like to see him try and return this first serve from there to begin with. May not work out, and try and survive the +1 from Andrey. That's a nice touch. I just feel, when I've watched him in the past, he often hits a return and then takes a good 2 meters backward steps for the next shot. And I think against somebody like Rublev, you just don't have the time to do that.
Yep. Obviously, returning closer to the baseline, you cover more angle, but you have less time to recover and absorb the next big shot. So if you don't hit a high quality return, you're in trouble. It's finding that balance, isn't it? As you say, if he's going to return and then move back anyway, then maybe just start back and try and get a better return into play.
Done well to stay with him there.
15 love.
Andrey's mum, as we know, coached him when he was younger. Nalza Silva was also a Portuguese player. Certainly helped Faria out as when he was coming through, and has done in recent times too.
Rublev's father, a boxer, wasn't he? I love the story he tells that he tried boxing when he was young and quickly gave it up when he got punched in the face. I think I'd have done the same.
Faria has steered that backhand beautifully. This has been a very encouraging start. That's so good. Pedro told us he had a great two-hander, and you can see it there. Not only did he steer the previous one, that one he just leant in on, and there was nothing that Rublev could do, spreading the play nicely early on. 2-1.
Yeah, really confident start, and you know, it's not just a big serve, but it's a good serve. He's made 9 out of 10 first serves to start this contest, and he's looking confident, as he should be, coming through qualifying and winning his first round. A 4-match win streak on these courts, these conditions. It's perfectly primed for this test today.
Time.
The same as he managed to do last year, of course. Faria getting through qualies, beat Pavel Kotov, one of the 4 top 100 wins that he has had in the opening round before going down to Djokovic in 4 sets. Pretty big moment for Faria in that match, because I believe John McEnroe was calling it, and of course that was how Jaime got into tennis in the first place. Went to watch some Champions Tour exhibitions events in Portugal. Mac was part of that. Wilander, along with his brother Vicente and his father Nuno. And when you hear a story like that, always makes me understand the importance of all tournaments, not just obviously the majors and the thousands, but the 250s. You just never know which kid they're going to inspire to play this game.
Well said. I think there's a balance to be found. A lot of talk in the sport about, you know, the top level events and the big players playing each other more often. And yes, you know, we need that, absolutely, but hopefully not at the expense of too many other events at all levels, because the development of the sport around the world is they are vital to that as well. So Faria, a perfect story of someone who could be inspired by top level tennis in his home country, his hometown.
And what a potential start this could be as Rublev tries to see off 3 break points. Interested to see where he goes here. Does he go TTT if he can win this point, try and narrow the band of attack, or does he take it into that forehand side? He tried to take it out wide, maybe trying to get the ball back to his forehand.
Well, it's a good kicker. It got up high, but I think if you're Faria, that goes down as a missed opportunity. Really step in and sort of own the return, did he? Let the ball play him. One more chance here. Needs more conviction. Done his homework. Missed the wide serve to the juice court, but it was into the forehand very deliberately, that one as well. You can see Faria trying to chip. Measured with the overhead and the drive volley, didn't overplay either shot. Knew he had a strong control of the point.
Good scramble to safety for Rublev. Hold percentage has been pretty consistent over the last few years, but it's actually been the return games one that's been a bit more problematic for Rublev in the last couple of seasons, which has seen him kind of try and look for solutions. The bringing on of Safin, obviously a lot of it is about his emotional temperament out there on court at times. But I suppose, Flemmo, as well, it's about the predictability of Rublev that's probably hurt him on top of that. Yep. And then you get the frustration because you're predictable and players start working you out.
Yeah, and you feel limited in what you can change, what you can do differently to try and find a different outcome. I just wonder for Rublev, I mentioned it, I came on court, whether just being slightly more under the radar, I see that as a positive for him, maybe an opportunity to just take a bit of the stress out of the situation and Play good tennis. Faria still only missed one first serve, but Rublev able to latch on to that point. Second first serve missed, and Rublev cashes in. It's another forehand where Faria maybe just guilty of coming up and out of the ball.
But they're doing a really good job of just making it as awkward as possible for Rublev, who is not that comfortable in that particular habitat yet.
No, he just hesitates at times. He didn't really attack that with his feet and his legs, as perhaps a more accomplished volleyer may have done.
After the disappointment of not breaking, that is a very strong hold because he was under pressure from the 13th seed. 3-2. Another packed day, once again, close to 100,000 streaming through the gates. Of course, if you want to get some pretty cool AO merchandise, the shop is available via the QR code that is currently on your screen. You can go online, you can browse, and you can make it very easy for yourself. There's a couple of hats that Colin's already packed in his suitcase for his kids back at home. But there are other things as well if you want to go and get them.
Definitely check it out. Got some great
I can see you walking out and about in Scotland in those.
Yeah, keep the rain off your head.
Something a little more traditional there. Faria had that 20-match winning streak, didn't he, on the futures back in 2024. That says a lot about a player, that they can keep a kind of streak like that going.
Yeah. Yeah, he's clearly consistent with the work he does. It's clearly been a good start to 2026 for him, you know, qualifying, making second round here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the top 100 by the end of the year. You know, I think when you look at the Grand Slams, he's starting to qualify a pretty regular basis. Obviously did it here last year. He was actually main draw for Roland Garros. That was the period where he stuck inside the top 100, but he qualified at Wimbledon. He lost last round at the qualies of the US Open, got in as a lucky loser, but you know, you're starting to see a trend of this guy is playing. He's not a qualifier sort of level, his ranking might be, but I think the level's high. He's starting to come through with regularity, and I think he'll push on in 2026.
Rublev himself, at the higher end of the tour, had that wonderful period in 2020. It was once COVID had allowed the tour to restart, picked up a win in Hamburg. 5 straight wins there, then of course got through to the quarters of Paris and then lost to Tsitsipas in the quarters at Roland Garros, but then won the title in St. Petersburg, won the title in Vienna. 20 out of 21 matches won in that period for Rublev. He was flying high.
Even though he's a little more under the radar coming into the Australian Open this year, let's not forget, you know, he won a Masters 1000 in 2024 in Madrid. You know, he's not that long off playing at a really high level. Made the final of Canada that year as well. You know, he's still got some very good tennis left in him, I think. He's 28 years of age.
Brilliant lob into the sun. He's got good anticipation.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a good point you make. Rublev currently at the far end of this Margaret Court Arena is playing into the sun. Start to become more of a factor, I would say, on the serve as we're just after midday. Maybe for the next 45 minutes, hour. Could become a challenge for these right-handers. Yeah, big hit. And you know, I mentioned it earlier, Rublev's a big server with the first serve, but the second serve is an area of his game you can get after. There's no doubt about it. Tends to be predominantly a kick serve. That one was very short and central in the box, and brilliant strike from Faria.
This is some really good ball striking, and against somebody like Rublev who loves to hit that forehand out of the backhand side, the fact that Faria has that beautiful backhand down the line is a huge asset.
Yeah, that backhand down the line is becoming a real problem for Rublev. That's the shot that really gave him control of the point. It was the forehand that finished it. Two-handed backhand for the Portuguese is a brilliant shot.
Don't often see Rublev take his backhand down the line that often, but that is a clear indication of where he thinks Faria's weakness is.
Yeah, he was disciplined there. I'm intrigued by that point from Faria, just sort of rolling the forehands, wasn't he? I thought there was a chance to have a bit more of a swing.
I agree.
Not having any issue generating break points, is he? It's already a fifth.
I put one.
Yeah, he's been a little passive on a couple of the break points, not just in this game, but in the previous one.
Even on his trusty two-handed backhand there, very sort of pensive and didn't really hit through the shot, did he? So just looking to nudge the ball into play, but I think against Rublev, you have to be more ambitious than that. Certainly ambitious on that return. Possibly a bit of frustration coming out from the missed opportunities.
That's another good arm wrestle on serve, and it's another game for Rublev on serve that he manages to get through. And often on the other side of that, the top player finds top gear. So Faria needs to be a little bit careful as we see the throngs of crowds, as they have been throughout the course of not just week 0, but the first week here in Melbourne. Out and about, nice wide avenues for the fans to be able to transport themselves around these grounds.
Comfortable, a more comfortable day, isn't it? Cooler.
Plenty of intent in that first point from Rublev. Not just with the racket head speed, but also with the feet.
Yeah, obviously the first time these two have played, and Rublev admitted after his first round win that he didn't know Faria at all. I think he's just learned a fair bit about him in the previous game. You know, the way he tightened up on those break points. It wasn't just a hold for Rublev, but it was some intel gained, wasn't it? Maybe into Faria's mindset, and he'll have gained confidence thinking, I've got this guy in the big moments.
Faria was a little distracted in that game because he didn't quite find the right blend of tennis on the bigger point. You could see him looking over to his coach there, Pedro, sort of mimicking his backhand that he didn't really hit. And then, as you said, a bit of frustration on the forehand return at deuce. That alleviates some of the pressure for the moment. That glorious backhand that he's found.
Yeah, Rublev didn't read it at all, did he? I think he was expecting the down the line attack again.
Yeah, he was. You can look at the weight that he put on his right leg. Good spot. Yeah, he's found an area to go to, and he knows that if he can go deep and fast into that forehand, there's some gains to be had.
Yeah. I think that's an investment for Rublev that's going to pay some dividends today. Hard and fast into that forehand corner.
One of the many staff meetings Rublev will have with himself.
Led for seven.
Great second serve. Rublev had committed, and then he ended up tucking himself up by committing as early as he did.
It goes down as 2 second serve returns missed on the break points. No wonder he's annoyed.
Oh, he's going to have another chance. Did well to parry the serve back, and then anticipation was excellent.
Yeah, we saw him earlier in the game not read a backhand at all, but he knew where that forehand was going.
Huge risk, couple of doubles, and Faria hands Rublev the break. Then it looked as though the Portuguese was going to go up a break, but it isn't. It's the 13th seed.
Time.
Sun is starting to peer through, but as you can see from that picture, a slightly slate grey start to the day here in Melbourne. And these two wonderful courts, the Margaret court and Rod Laver, nestled up against each other. These two were going along nicely, but it is Rublev who has broken free in the 7th game of the opening set. There's no question that we've seen him try and overcome his fear of coming in the last sort of 12 months. That is definitely a place he is looking to be a little bit more productive.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's an opportunity to get a lot of volleys like the one he just got there, because he's so good from the back of the court. He hits so big. I'm almost thinking Andrey Agassi in his, you know, he didn't need to be an amazing volleyer, because a lot of them are going to be above the height of the net. It's just come in and finish. So I think it's a positive that he's looking to get forward a little more often. As good as he is from the back of the court, it's hard to stay on the baseline and keep hitting winners, particularly as you move into the latter stages of these Grand Slam events.
14.
Making good use of the new balls here to consolidate the break of serve. 207. Plenty of pace on that flat serve from Rublev. Stunning two-hander. Giving Faria some of his own medicine there down the line. Perfect game.
He always has the intensity, Rublev. Sometimes he channels it in the wrong way, but when he gets in the lead and he gets in these kind of situations, watch out. Faria is going to have to be at his absolute best here just to stay in this set. Well, and he was. Great response to what was a quality return there from Rublev. Surprisingly, given some of the quality of his serves and the pace, that was his first ace of the match. He's going to need his first break of the match to keep this opening set going. Rublev only dropping 3 points behind his first serve. That's definitely something that Federer's going to have to do a slightly better job of, you would think, in this next game coming up. He's kind of been very stubborn in his court position.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I think you made a great point earlier in the set. You know, even the returns that are going into play, they're not really troubling Rublev, and Faria with his movement, he's not able to recover and sort of neutralize the serve and the first hit. So he needs to find something a little better here off the first serve of Rublev's.
Still the more tricky end to serve from as Rublev tries to put this opening set to bed. And that's the problem. If you don't get good length, you just don't have enough time to recover. And Rublev not giving him any time to recover, taking it out of the air. Perfect start to the 10th game.
Yeah, since he's got the break and since the new balls have come out, he looks very confident. Ball's flying off his racket. Toggled through his speeds nicely on his second serve as well, Rublev. That one coming in at 175, but he's been under 140, and he is somebody that doesn't serve that quick on the second at times. Beauty there for Faria as far as net chords go. That was perfect. Going to get a net chord. This is the one you want, isn't it?
That was a good battle. Enjoyable 40 minutes. Not as enjoyable for that man as it was for the 13th seed, who takes it 6-4. Saffing on the bag, a slice backhand being introduced. Haven't really seen any little wrinkles like the occasional serve and volley, off-pace delivery. It is all about doing what he does well consistently.
Wait, please, wait, please.
Maybe a few more backhand down the lines at times from Rublev.
Yep. Definitely little, you know, intricate sort of adjustments. He's definitely coming in more, as you said. We saw a drop shot in the highlights there. Just little sprinklings. I don't think Margaret will be suggesting slice backhands anytime soon. What a backhand that guy had.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there for best two-handers of all time for me.
No question.
In the discussion.
No question.
Thing of beauty. And when you see him practicing with Andrey now, it is still as good as ever. Notable mentions on the two-hander front for Djokovic, Agassi, Nalbandian. I'm going to put Murray in there as a fellow Scot.
I think so.
But
Flexibility.
Marat Safin, there he is. His two-handed backhand. If anyone hasn't seen it, please go on to the internet, to YouTube, whatever, get up some videos and just... In fact, look up 2005 Safin v Federer Australian Open and enjoy. Obviously, once this match is finished.
Well, he's got the arm of the net cord.
One was even better.
40-15.
Interesting he went wide there to hit the kicker out to Rublev's backhand. We haven't seen him shuffle along the baseline.
I thought you meant on the net cord. Took this one out wide as well.
That's a decent detour, isn't it, in there?
The first net cord didn't really change the course of the first set, but that one was helpful. The big difference there between 40-15 and 30 all. Because Faria needs a good start to this set. He's got a nice hold there.
Interesting that he's decided not to go to his towel. He's gone straight up to the coaching box.
Joga ali na zona. Mas se tiver espelhado, foda-se, vai. De esquerda está a adiantar bem, meu. De esquerda está a fazer monte. Direita vai ali. Na direita, se a está passada, vai levar o bico, o gajo solta o braço.
É isso, mas eu só sei que era direita rápida e o gajo pode do outro lado.
Está bem, mas só vais rápido se tiver espelhado. Se não vais na esquerda tranquilo, vamos. E se o gajo fizer o winner, depois fez o winner. Não passa nada.
Very in-depth tactical chat, it seemed.
What this crowd's come to see, and whatever was said between Pedro and Jaime was certainly worked out. That was a much more promising exchange.
Yeah, he hit the ball with real conviction there. Problem for Faria is that it brought the best out of Rublev. Excellent point.
Yeah, I don't think that has a good outcome often enough to make it a worthwhile strategy.
Rublev's starting to look very comfortable on serve, isn't he? After breaking, held to love, held to 15 to see out the set. Got the ball rolling again here. I think Faria's going to have to start looking for something a little different, isn't he, on the turn?
40-11.
There was a little serve and volley coming from Rublev. Nice to see. And the right time to potentially implement it at 40-love up. That's always a difficult balance for players. You want to stay in rallies and kind of develop them for Faria, but and you don't want to go pure nuclear straight away off the return all the time and be out of bounds too often. But there is a sense that by chipping and giving Rublev time, you kind of continually build his confidence up the other end of the court. very efficient mover. So that is the one thing I like. There's not a big high split step. He keeps his feet very close to the ground in contact a lot of the time. That's why he moves well. It's actually quite tough to wrong foot him. Just did fitness once a week, he said, in his sort of young teens. There were other Portuguese players that were much better than him. He managed to play one junior Grand Slam qualifying because he turned up and signed in as an alternate, but wasn't in because of his ranking. Played very few junior tournaments. Many offers to go to US college, but always wanted to go pro if he could straight away. Got given the route to doing that by the Portuguese Tennis Federation, asking him to come to the National Tennis Centre when he was 16.
Yeah, there's a nice bit of momentum. Mentioned it earlier. His very good friend Andrey Rublev, who he roomed with as a youngster. You know, he's sitting at 158 in the world currently. You know, got a lot of potential to try and push towards this sort of top hundreds. It's always nice having a close friend like that, isn't it? Someone similar age to push each other, train with each other. Portuguese #1, you know, Borges, benefiting from a retirement from Jorge Aliassime in round 1. He was 2-1 up at the time. Borges, he's in the top 50, but he's based at the federation as well. So there's a high level of tennis and, you know, professionalism around these Portuguese players at this moment in time. And, you know, even Mark, as you know, having been involved in federations in your time, but, you know, it's run by Rui Machado, who was a top 100 player. He's coached here by Pedro Sousa, who was top 100. It's just a lot of knowledge there, isn't there, in the same building?
Yep. There's a little tendency as well, if you don't have those kind of people within that kind of setup, that everyone's searching for a magic list when they know that it's actually the ordinary list and just doing it exceptionally well every single day, which is actually the magic pill. And I will forever die on the hill that domestic tournaments are a hugely valuable way of spending your money. Yeah, that is a great pickup. Yeah, and he felt like a big hold, and he showed us through his emotions it was a big hold for him. 2-1.
Yeah, these holds becoming more important for Faria, because he's having had a number of break points early in the first set. He's not really making any inroads and on the Rublev serve, and we've been talking about his return position. Let's just have a sort of look at the graphic as to where he's returning from. He's averaging on the first serve those yellow balls, the yellow line, just inside 2 meters from the baseline. You mentioned it, Mark, you know, you'd like to see him closer to the sort of Melbourne, maybe 2.5, 3 meters further back. He's making returns, but he's chipping them, and the returns sat there to be hit by Rublev, one of the great attacking players. So maybe just move a meter further back for the first serve return, get a better return into play. It'll be interesting to see if that can make any difference for him. But so far, returning pretty close, chipping, but not really troubling Rublev.
Sun setting high above the Margaret Court Arena, and Rublev has got a battle on his hands. It's been a good start to the second set from the 22-year-old.
Laverty.
Unbelievable forehand from Rublev. Faria, no attempt to recover. Whether he thought Rublev's shot had missed long, whether he thought his own shot might be good enough. That's exceptional improvisational skills there.
Yeah, he would have kicked himself if he hadn't come away with that point.
Much better return, wasn't
Yep.
it? You're hitting through the ball and doing a lot of damage there.
Yeah, that's how you feel he's got to play. If he's going to get close to the baseline, he's going to have to try and inject a little pace and rush Rublev off the return. And accept the fact that you're going to miss a few more than you probably normally do.
Yeah, I think he's edged slightly further back, but I still think he could maybe take one more step. You can see him here. He's just inside the Melbourne sign, but he will split step forwards. Yeah, he's
not got to get too wrapped up when Rublev plays a point like that, feeling as though he should have done something else. That is the perfect point from Rublev's perspective. He's gone great first serve, 200 Ks into the backhand side, ripped to forehand, and then gone back in behind him. But you can see here, he's kind of berating himself.
Yeah, nothing more he could do there.
There was a lot more he could have done there, and that's where he's got to drop the guardrails. The backhand was perfect. I love that play from him, and it looked very comfortable, but that mid-court forehand just has to, that's green light. He's got to just pull the trigger on it. And it wasn't even big, and it wasn't even close to the line in terms of being precise and placement to get Rublev on the run.
We've often spoken about wanting to see a bit more variety from Rublev, but that will always be the foundation of his game, won't it? What a forehand this man possesses.
Love 30.
Just missed it wide. Can you believe it?
15-30.
I don't think it was the wrong shot. He had the court position to play the drop shot. But what must go through his mind is, why didn't I just smack that? You know, my forehand's so good. He must be constantly questioning whether it's the right thing to do to bring in variation. He saw the forehand winner he hit in the opening point of the game.
That's a brilliant point from Rublev. He is running Faria ragged out here at the moment in this game.
And the appetite to come forward again, winning on the point, just squeezing Faria there. You know, had he stayed on the baseline, it would have been more time for the Portuguese to recover, but he stepped in, took that ball out the air, and the pressure was too much in the end.
That's a great second serve. Credit to him that he was able to recover, because Rublev picked it and couldn't capitalize on the position that he'd gained in the court. But it would have been easy there for Faria to have just rolled in a second serve and not give away his service game. That was a world-class return again. That is Rublev at his absolute peak. As I've been saying, he's dropped off a little bit in that department in recent years, but that was a glimmer of hope for the future for Rublev, that he is back to his best. Flemmo, you made a good point right at the start of the match that Faria, as quick as he is, he can get into a little bit of a rhythm of serving the same shot. And even on the first point that a couple of games ago, when he had the chat with Pedro after the opening game of the second set, he did play a good point, but it actually allowed Rublev to play well because it was the same ball coming. If you keep doing that, he's going to have bigger problems around the corner.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree more. I think with his serving, and even with the way he's hitting from the baseline, there's not a huge amount of variety coming Rublev's way, is there? And he now looks like he's hitting the ball beautifully. And it's going to be very hard to shake him out of this rhythm now.
Time.
Rublev in prime position here at a set and a break, but these are the games, aren't they? They're just a little bit harder at times to hold on to your serve when you've just broken. Just a little bit more intensity down the other end of the court to try and recover the break quickly.
miss many of those. Didn't miss that one by much.
No.
Just dragged it wide. Oh.
And this is the great difference between a guy that's sitting as the 13th seed in this tournament and somebody like Faria, who's a qualifier. To be able to repeat the same point over and over again for a sustained period of time. We talk a lot about the X's and O's. And at times the X factor and what separates, and there's no question for me that once you get up into the rarefied air of, top 5 in the world, they do have a shot at a certain time that just separates them from the rest of the gang. But what you've seen out here is that Rublev just doesn't have too many down moments. There are less valleys in his performance than there are from Faria's.
Yeah, he is relentless. Oh, blistering racket head speed and pace on the ball. That's untouchable.
Got to have a forehand like that to afford Safin's feet.
It's a good example, wasn't it? It was a well-hit return from Faria, but it landed right on the tee. You'd rather sort of slightly miss-hit it, but get it deep to the backhand. It's where you hit the ball at this level that counts so much.
Safin just sitting there thinking, it's okay.
Average.
Yeah.
I can hit it harder than that. Safin, not me.
Sit down. Calm down.
Yeah. If you're here at the Australian Open at all, get a chance to watch them practice. Margaret usually hitting balls with Andrey. I mean, the power is ridiculous.
Two kindred spirits in many ways, aren't they, Safin and Rublev, in terms of what we've seen between the rectangle. We've seen the fire, we've seen the intensity, we've seen Safin breaking rackets for fun.
Yeah, I think that's the approach, isn't it? I don't think it's sort of Safin seeing it as someone that, I was completely different to that guy and I can rub off on him. It's more, I've felt the same frustrations and anger on the court and I want to try and help him deal with them better. He was renowned for breaking rackets, wasn't he, Safin? A record breaker in that regard. But what a player as well. Former champion here, winner of the US Open as well.
30.
Those are some of the most frustrating misses for a pro player, because you're not trying to do anything other than just find the length. Just drifts it over the baseline. They couldn't quite find the level that he showed in the previous returning game, and that keeps Faria in this second set. Just the one break behind.
Sorry, water please. Hey, boy, water please.
Time.
Just a quick 10-minute stroll back to the main part of Melbourne here, just down the Yarra if you feel like it, or in the back street. Some of the best coffee in the world, that as the major winds on, you end up maybe indulging in one extra cup a day. Big coffee drinker?
Big coffee drinker I am, yeah.
You got your favourite spot here?
Nearest to the tennis, a little spot called Vacation.
Yep.
You get yourself a
Which
magic.
is what you're on, obviously, coming here.
Yes, absolutely right. You've got to go for a magic. Of course, Melbourne,
Yep.
home of the flat white, which is, you know, globally known now, but the magic hasn't travelled just yet. It's a double ristretto. Every morning, one of those, and you're ready to go.
I don't know if I get free groceries for this, but M&S actually do the magic in the UK.
Wow.
Yep.
I think we're shopping on different budgets.
Yeah, he's got to change his mindset. Because with the change in mindset will become a different result. He's got to accept the fact that he's losing the points anyway.
Yeah.
So by going for it and trying to hit the ball a bit harder, get it to travel a little bit deeper, take away Rublev's time, he's got a shot. Right now, his future is being purely dictated to by his opponent.
Yeah, and look, the problem with the chip return is compounded by the fact that he's not the best mover at this level. You know, to chip against someone like Rublev, you need to be so quick to then, you know, get to the next ball, absorb that one, maybe chip another one, chip a third, and suddenly you're in the point. I don't think he moves well enough for that. I think he needs to hit to do more on the return.
He's got one of the best kind of inside-in backhand returns on the deuce side, Rublev. He's got such a strong left hand on the top, and the way that he kind of holds the grip, it makes the racket face almost a little closed on contact, which is why the cross-court is so good on this side. They can really tug it fast into your backhand side on that deuce when you kick it in there. See ya.
Yeah, that'll work as well. And after the second deal here.
It's been interesting, hasn't it? He's been very comfortable coming in, taking these kind of deliveries on the second serve, and it's not like Faria hasn't tried to throw in some slower ones and some quicker ones.
I like what I'm seeing from Rublev today. You know, it's set in 5-3. You know, it's a situation that you would expect him to sort of control his emotions in, but you know, it's not uncommon for Rublev to sort of irrationally lose control of his anger, and he looks pretty composed today, pretty relaxed. And I think he's in a good headspace. A couple of chances here to get the job done in this second set without having to serve for it. Another unbelievable second serve return. What a game that was.
Marching to his chair and marching surely into the third round.
It's a missed forehand for Rublev, but He's not going to miss many of those. It looks like we're going to get more of the same from Faria on return. Just chipping the ball pretty short in the court.
Bravo.
30-15.
More of the same for Rublev's side of the court. Different approach needed for the 22-year-old. Do you know the winner, or who the winner would play? Whoever gets through here. At the moment, it's certainly looking like Andrey. Cisco Cerundolo dominating Emil Jumer in their match. He won 18 out of the last 22 games. A couple of big forehands on the court in that one if we get there with a Rublev-Cerundolo meeting. Yeah,
they've played 4 times before, and the Argentines actually won 3 of them. Last meeting was indoors in Paris in 2024. The way this is looking, it's looking very much like it'll be a Rublev-Cerundolo matchup, and as you say, you sort of fear for the tennis balls in that one, don't you, with the 2 forehands on show. Big hits from Faria. You know, in this situation, if I'm Pedro Sousa's coach, I'd really want to see him dig in here. You know, yes, he's 2 sets down, and he, you know, is probably feeling what everyone inside this Margaret Court Arena is feeling, that Rublev's on his way. But there's so much to potentially gain, even if he were to lose this 3rd set, by digging in, by trying a few different things, by seeing how far he can push his game, to then take that into, you know, his upcoming tournaments and indeed the rest of his career. There's also always the chance in a best-of-5 set match that, you know, the player that's 2 sets up maybe loses a little bit of focus, or, you know, just has enough of a dip, and if you can just win the 3rd, you never know where it might take you.
No, you're never sure. Oh, you're absolutely right. And everyone's mileage in the draw is a little bit different. Whether is feeling any effects from coming through qualies to get to this stage is potentially another factor, but that is an encouraging start to the 3rd set. just a little too short with the return. Try and find a way to fade that down the line into the backhand side of Rublev. At least you then know that that one's going to go cross court and you can get into the rally. Go cross court with that shot and you've got an awful lot of baseline that you have to protect.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, if he is going to persist with the chip return, I think he has to raise the standard on it, raise the ambition with it. He's got to be looking to chip it deep to the backhand corner, not just onto the tee in the middle of the court. You know, set the bar higher for himself in this set.
Obviously a lot easier to do on the second serve than it is on the first, although he hasn't had huge success on that second serve of Rublev's today. 13 out of 20 won by Rublev. Couple of sweet strikes though off the two-hander. And he grabs a toe hold in this third game.
Brilliant from Faria, and something completely new in this match. The slice approach, rushing the net, and it paid off for him. He's a big guy, covered the net well there.
Took the gamble from 30 love. That was a special game from the 22-year-old. Who's class and grabs his first break.
Fair play, Jaime Faria. It's exactly what you want to see from him. Having a go, and he's got his first break of serve of the match now. Something to really work with in this third. It was the chip return again, wasn't it? But crucially on this one, he sort of punched it, you know, much deeper into the court. It gave him a sort of more of a neutral ball, and then just took his chance there down the line. What a hit that is.
And also it's break point down for Rublev. You know, he's probably not going to go quite as big because he doesn't want to give away the break. And also, off the back of that, there hadn't been that kind of firepower that he had to kind of defend against.
Yeah.
So from his perspective, you know, and again, that's why every situation is slightly different depending on what the scoreboard says.
Time.
New complexion on the match, as Colin said. You just never know in the best of 5 format where the dip may happen or where you may spike, and that's exactly what just happened. But a spiking off the return, particularly on the forehand. One thing I do think he could do with his footwork pattern on his forehand, I think sometimes he's a little bit too open stance on his forehand. It's sort of more semi, but there are times when he's purely open. I think he could go parallel a little bit and catch the ball a bit earlier and use the pace.
15 love.
because there is power there. We saw it on the final point of the last game.
Oh,
What's this been?
that's even better forehand.
Third
Yeah, you're right. He looks more comfortable hitting open stance, as he did on these two forehands. Getting the right foot out wide behind the ball there. Oh, can't believe that. I think he got a little carried away, maybe, but anywhere in the service box would have done.
Yeah, Rublev actually stopped running.
Missed an open goal there.
Yeah, it's been unfortunate for Portugal. They haven't created any good soccer players. Easy to miss open goals.
Although I was there last year when Scotland got a 0-0 win against them.
Not only attacking well, defending effectively.
Faria leads, lines against 2.
And an irresistible combination that is just denting the progress of Rublev for the time being.
It just feels to me like Faria has found a bit of freedom. You know, now that he's 2 sets down, almost sort of just let go of any tension and going for his shots now.
I'm not quite sure why he has suffered a bit of undertow mentally there. Why has he dragged himself back down?
Yeah, you can't win every point. Especially not against a player of this level.
And also wants to project an image to Rublev that he feels incredibly comfortable and can continue to play like this and dominate.
Great speech that the great Roger Federer did. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Princeton or it was one of the sort of Ivy League? Dartmouth. Yeah, thank you. But he spoke of, you know, the percentage of points won in his career being just over 50%. And, you know, and that's one of the greatest players to ever do it. You know, you can't let a good point that your opponent plays sort of affect your mindset negatively. Always on to the next point and you know, just trying to play that to the best of your ability.
You heard the call of Buona. That was very good for Rublev, although he is in the deficit in this third set.
Interesting juncture in this third set. Faria break ahead, but it's far from one. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep playing with the same sort of relaxation, going for his shots and taking the game to Rublev. I'm sure Rublev will have designs on getting the break back and getting this done in straights.
Time.
Melbourne looking magnificent, and it has been a record start to this year's Australian Open. The outside courts at the moment, as you can see, jam-packed with fans and big stories, as many of the fans wandering around waiting for maybe their favourite player. We're keeping an eye on this one. That's where I would like to see him kind of go parallel, get his left foot up the court rather than just waiting for the ball. Because by the time you set up for the open stance at times, you actually have to let the ball come down because you're waiting for it to arrive at you rather than going to collect it. Yeah,
I'm no biomechanist, but the studies will show that if you can get that left foot down the court, then the power produced is increased, isn't it?
Yeah,
you can do more damage with it. Got himself a little more side on there, but of course it's a runaround forehand where you have to give yourself the option to play that inside out forehand as he did. It's that one through the middle, isn't it, on the forehand, rather than waiting for an open stance. Step in with the left and crunch it.
He's found a really nice rhythm on serve. Just within touching distance of 70% of his first serves have gone in this third set. The swinger out wide on the deuce is starting to cause Rublev a few problems. But it's been that shot that has been the great separator between these two.
Yeah, we see his coach there, Pedro Sousa, who in the warm-up told us his big weapons are the serve and the backhand. And that has been the case. His backhand down the line has been sensational at times. But the reason he's ahead in this third is starting to really attack that forehand down the line. And that's a big, convincing hold of serve. Sends a message to Rublev. He's not going anywhere.
Ball change. Faria leads by 4 games to 2.
Let's see if he can keep his mindset in the positive gear after holding on effectively to go up 3-1. He just got a little bit negative quickly. You made the point about Roger's speech at Dartmouth at university. Of course, Tony Gossett went to Dartmouth, which is why he made that particular speech. The year that Roger won 81 matches and lost just 4, that season he won 55 points. Percentage of the points that he played that season.
It's incredible,
and he only
it?
lost 4 matches.
Yeah, you know, when you think of that record, matches won, you would think he'd be at least in the 60s percentage of points won, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh, he has really turned the tables, and it's been courtesy of some real quality.
Yeah, again, I just come back to the fact that he's 2 sets down and he's playing with, I think, more freedom as a result. You know, he's moving better, he's hitting bigger.
Oh, that's a great serve. That has handcuffed him.
15-0.
New balls in play, so quicker through the air and skidding a little off the line, perhaps. Brilliant serve.
30-15.
Done a good job here, Rublev, mentally. You've got to expect all players to light it up for a period of a match. And he's found another one this time. It kisses the top of the tape. And your job at that point moment as the high-ranked player is to try and stay with them. He hasn't been able to do that because it has been just breathtakingly good from Faria. But the reality is that Rublev hasn't got down on himself,
where he might have done in the past. That is for sure.
Just to see where he goes here. So I feel like it's got to be body forehand, but yeah, that's a good serve. The backhand did the damage when he finally unlocked the door to the first break in the match. Faria.
I don't mind the return though. You know, it's going big and hitting and attacking down that line. That's the reason he's ahead in this set. He's just got the wrong trajectory on it. Excellent. Skipping around this court now. He's light on his feet, swinging freely. And it's the Faria forehand dominating this set now.
Got great lag, hasn't he? I mean, that's the one thing when you watch him play prior to this match. You can see why he does well on clay at times. I mean, he really does generate some racket head acceleration. Still feel that there's a lot of upside in that swing as well.
First outburst we've heard from Rublev today. He started to become a little frustrated with how well Faria's hitting the ball.
Advantage, Rublev. Use. Advantage, Rublev.
Any brittleness on the other side of the court. Rublev has kept himself in a location where he can take advantage of it. Faria 4-3 though, with the break.
Sorry, you can check where's the racket? Thank you.
Lev must have a racket back at the stringers. He's asking to Miriam Blade to have a check, get it back as soon as he can.
Time.
Once again, a little drift around the grounds. Kia Arena there. That was the site of a very emotional win for Stan Wawrinka the other day. Interested to see how long Federer can keep this tennis going.
Yeah, it's intriguing. You know, he's been the better player the first 7 games of this set. He deserves to be 4-3 a break ahead, but he's now into the territory where he's thinking,
what's something to lose?
I'm close to winning this set now. And will he keep playing with freedom, or will he tighten up as a result? Nothing he can do about that. That is just brilliant.
It's difficult to put a time span on it, but when you watch enough tennis over the course of your life, this kind of increase in tempo that a player suddenly has at these sort of junctures in matches, it tends to last around 20-25 minutes, and then you get a bit of a drop. Because if they could do it consistently, they would have done it from the start. That is a big let-off.
15-30.
Rublev thinks that was long, but in fact both players seem to think it may have been, but technology confirms it. It's clipped the back of the line. But the psychology is intriguing, isn't it? Because, you know, the common sense way of thinking for me would be the pressure's on Rublev here. Because if he doesn't get the break back, he's lost the set. So the pressure's on him to perform. But that's not the way it works out. The way it works out is Faria potentially thinks, well, I could win this set, so I've got something to lose, so you try and protect. And they tend to be the ones that tighten up.
Excellent overhead. Suboptimal start to the game.
40-30.
Yeah, that was missable, particularly at that end of the court. The sun could have been an issue. It's right above him. Deep in the court as well. He got great snap on that.
It's unlucky.
Use.
Lovely strike. Good resistance being shown here by Rublev.
Huge delivery there, 213 kilometers an hour down the tee. The evidence of today, that's his favorite serve, isn't it? Hammering it. Oh.
Couple of special deliveries to finish off the game. And a huge step forward to claiming this third set. Not his quickest. He has dropped one in at 2:18, but 2:15 that last one, located in the corner of the corner. Oh. He went full Bill Tilden there with the grip.
It was an incredible shot. Actually, a great hustle from Rublev to come out on top.
couple of times on his volleys, he almost kind of keeps running away sort of along the net rather than to the net, and then tries to play it on the short angle the other way. It's a really hard volley to go. When you're having to chase that hard to get to it, you've almost got to punch it down the line and pick your poison.
14.
Yeah, if he can move a little more diagonally and just get some natural momentum into the shot, you've got to do less work with the racket, don't you?
Yeah. Rublev going full Riley Opelka there. 5-4. Faria, he'll serve for the third.
Well, there's no real sign of any tightening up from Faria in his previous service game. You know, yes, he was in trouble, but came out of it impressively. See if he can continue to go for his shot, serve big, play big, as he looks to close out this third set.
Time.
Faria with a chance to grab all the marbles in this third set. It's been well attended, well watched, and it has been a very interesting turn of events here in the third set. It has been aggressive, consistent play. And given the way that he finished his last service game, going to be interesting to see here whether he changes it up. He has liked to go with the angled serve to the Rublev forehand on the due side on the first point of the game. But a couple of fast deliveries in the last one got the desired result. He has options. Stayed true to a strategy that has borne out good results for him.
And a game like this, it's so nice for Faria, the underdog, to have that big serve, doesn't it? Get a few cheap points if he can. Surprised at that play. 155 km/h kick serve for the first serve. I don't know why he wouldn't just be dropping the hammer here as he tries to serve this out.
Doesn't need to overthink it.
No.
Hits his spots with his serve, the set's his.
30-15.
It's more like it. I expect something a lot bigger than 155 Ks to the ad court this time round.
Exactly what Rublev received. 213 Ks. Red hot, and then a nice shuffled backhand down the line, and we've seen a number of those. Well, that was the shot that turned the entire tide of the match, and it is fitting. I'm not entirely sure why he kept that forehand so under wraps for so long.
Yeah, you know, his serve, we heard it from his coach in the warm-up, his serve and his backhand are his best shots, if you like, but his forehand has, I mean, it has literally grown in, effectiveness before our eyes in this match, hasn't it? Starting to hit it much bigger, much more confidently.
It's interesting that his coach said that, because you get the sense that if he's saying that, that others that have worked with him throughout the Portuguese system have said that.
Yeah.
He probably feels that. And the one thing that I've learned in my time when I have been coaching is how hypersensitive players are to the words that you use. And you have to be so careful about using words that sort of re-emphasize or amplify what they either think are weaknesses or potentially strengths. And sometimes you have to kind of bluff them in terms of what went wrong in the day before, because they're so focused myopically on the weakness that they kind of think it's always that contributed to the loss. And I wonder if he's heard so many times that your forehand's not as good as your backhand that he's just been a little reticent to unleash it. And miss it like that, and it's, your shot is... It's like, well, I agree with you. You said it a few times today. It's a good miss.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in exactly that. I think the narrative, your own self-narrative and that of your close-knit team is so important. And if I was working with Faria, the narrative I would have for him are that, he's got a great serve, great backhand, but the forehand is the difference maker. He's got a big forehand, it's a difference maker. It's the one that's going to win in big matches and big moments. And it won him the third set. Yeah,
it won the third set by a mile. I do think that he can do a few things around that forehand a little bit better. I do think footwork patterns would help him with his forehand cross-court. I do think that he could take time away from his opponent a little bit more with the forehand. But I would be emphasizing to him that he could potentially get that forehand to being one of the best in the world. It is not an Achilles heel. Because the bigger he hits his forehand and the more threat that comes from that side, the more often Rublev is actually going to have to take the ball into what, in his own mind, is his favored wing.
Third Chile.
Starting to wear the paint out on that line. He's been so accurate with that serve.
It's a brilliant technique, isn't it? Quite a simple technique, but he's just a big, strong guy and loads up and explodes into the ball.
You can see why he wasn't one of the better juniors in Portugal, because he grew late. He said his dad's tall. But he's one of those players and one of those people that just grew late, simply. And that's one of the things that I dislike about talent ID in countries and federations. The one thing that talent ID does 100% of the time is tell people they're not going to make it. But a guy like Jaime, you're not going to necessarily see him at 8, 9, 10 years old when he hasn't hit that many balls with the way that he moves and go, this kid's got X factor.
His height and his size now are, fundamental to his game. It's that change-up serve again.
30.
you know, maybe 40 love to show something different. 30-15, still quite a big point for me. Early stages of the fourth, big period in the match for Faria in particular. It's now at 30 all. Pressure moment. Not sure what the delay was. Something catching the eye of Faria before the second serve, but it maybe just broke the rhythm of Rublev.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really understand why he feels that that's going to be a good play against Rublev, who has a very high take back on his back. He can just angle that cross court so comfortably.
Yeah. And as well as Faria's played in the last sort of 45 minutes, Rublev's still the favourite in the rally. That's a big second there, really strong, gutsy second serve. Surely this time to the ad court he rocks back and sends down a rocket.
He's made it. And creates a little bit of a bridgehead early on in this fourth set to try and mount some sort of assault against the Rublev serve early. Yeah, I don't know how much data he needs to tell him that big first serves are definitely the way to go.
Well, I can tell you he's tried it 3 times in his last 2 service games and lost all 3 of the points. So that should be all the data he needs. 0 from 3 is not getting it done. He's in this match though, isn't he? This isn't a case of Rublev winning the first 2 sets and losing a bit of focus. This is a case of Faria finding another gear. And if he can maintain it, then he is right in this second round match.
The only pressure in this particular rally was for the spectator to make the catch.
Hi.
Andrey just trying to inject a little pace into that, didn't need to, just could have just caressed it over the net into the space. He was still going to be odds-on favourite to win the rally, didn't need to hit a clean winner. Here he comes.
Forehand again. Big hits, giving him control of the point. And really nice movement this time to the volley. Diagonally, just smothering that ball. Got it above the height of the net and made no mistake.
Really fun match. Barrage of forehands there from Rublev, and he goes up 2-1 in the fourth. His forehand has been solid all the way through. Bit more fluctuations with his opponents, Flembo.
Yeah, certainly has been. We can look at his forehand rally placement in set 2. 39% of his forehands he hit down the line into that white zone in the court. But look at the adjustment he made in set 3, the set that he won. All of a sudden, 65% of his forehands going down the line, and they weren't just placed there, they were hit big. He hit 1 forehand winner in set 2, he hit 7 forehand winners in set 3. Seriously impressive from Faria, and it looks as if he's maintaining it into set 4. That is the reason we got a match on our hands here.
Time.
All around the grounds on the opening 3 days, there was actually no male player that was able to come back from 2 sets to love down. That's the first time that's happened since 1980, and it is a rare occurrence. We've seen many recoveries from 2 sets to love at many of the majors over the years, but none in the opening round. Yeah, trying to do that here. It would be for the first time. It would be for the second time that Andrey Rublev has lost a 2 sets to love lead. The only other time it happened was against Lorenzo Sonego at Roland Garros back in 2023. Lost the 4th set on a breaker there. Actually, the Italian's first ever top 10 win. Nice way to do it.
Love 15.
And one of the hardest things to do is to come back from a set down even in tennis, but particularly from 2 sets to love down, because there is a large portion of the match where you have to be perfect for. There is no ability to have a dip.
Yeah.
Unless your opponent goes entirely off the board.
15 on.
I think we're just sort of entering that period, aren't we? Early in the 4th, where there is a risk that Faria just cools off slightly. There's always a bit of a natural lull to a match at, you know, the start of every set, and that's often where the great players know they can sort of make hay, isn't it? Grab an early break.
Something a little out of the ordinary, and it comes from Rublev's racket.
15,
Well,
30.
bravo. Faria did our job for us, didn't he? What a forehand.
Lethal pace on the run. That is so good. What a response.
30.
Didn't detonate the forehand down the line.
You know, there's some people that I know that you sort of aren't a big fan of players praising their opponent's play in the way that Faria did, you know, maybe applauding the racket, saying, but I like it because I think, you know, it gives you a good perspective on what's just happened, and he's followed it up with a great point of his own there. You know, had he sort of berated the fact that Rublev had come up with something good, he's in more of a negative mindset. So this is great from Faria.
14.
So impressed with the Portuguese from the start of the 3rd set.
Didn't hold Novak back.
No, exactly.
Spent the whole of his life applauding his opponent's great shots.
Some people think, you know, you've got to be that sort of ruthless competitor on the court, but, you know, I don't mind it. How about the 3 points he followed up with? Worked for him.
2 games on.
Plenty of pace in that arm still, 216. And he would have been hoping for more once he had delivered that dagger down the line.
Good move forward from Rublev. Again, doesn't need to be the best volleyer. His ground shots are so good. He has opportunities to move in and finish with that sort of volley. As silky a backhand as you will see all tournament. Over the high part of the net. Incredible shot. It's so well timed, he didn't overplay it.
That was one of the best points of the match. We've had many in the opening 2 hours and 15 plus minutes.
Mr. Faria would like to see a replay of the call on the left.
Well, he's going to see just how good the smash ultimately was, but it was the backhand down the line that turned the tide in the rally for Rublev.
Yeah, the overhead was closer to the line than it needed to be, but I don't think there's any doubt it was in.
It was the perfect example of 78-foot tennis being played by both, up on the baseline.
I'm not sure that was the right call that was shown. Miriam Blade just checking.
It was, it just wasn't wide enough. I'm not entirely sure what Jimmy saw there.
I think that was a different call, but yeah, still well in, wasn't it? That was a bit of a pointless exercise.
I think Safin on centre court had one of those when we still had the challenge system back then.
Left first serve.
Not entirely sure he wasn't using that for a little bit of extra time. He would have been quite happy the fact that it didn't come up correctly.
That's exactly the reason I'd get rid of it.
New balls, please.
That was nuclear fusion in 4K. He absolutely gunned that forehand, did Rublev. 3-2. Let's take it back to 30-15. Always nice to go back, and hopefully this is our future as well, because this was some rally.
And we can make our own judgment of how close the overhead was to the line as well.
That shot was awesome.
Blistering pace on the ball from both players. Where did it land? In.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
all those parents watching in, and you get those horrible calls in juniors, that's why, because players see it the way they want to see it. They see it out even when it's well in.
I think you're right, though. I think he was buying a few extra seconds to get his breath back.
Time.
Never get tired of coming down to Australia. The southern migration for all of the, well, for virtually most of the tennis players to get to this part of the world to kick off the season in various locations around Australia. It could be Perth, could be beautiful Brisbane, awesome Adelaide. Finally ending up here in magical Melbourne for the first major of the year. Always great storylines and headline makers. 22-year-old from Portugal would love to be one of those.
Laver.
Brilliant return. Compact technique, just absorbing the pace. In fact, using it against Faria. And he's under real pressure now.
Does he go wide here? He just went big, and he went the biggest of the match, 220. He is panicking a little bit here. Stolen it.
What a treat this match has become. It's another sensational point. Both players throwing everything at it. Just a little predictable maybe on the last forehand. Rublev certainly read it, and that just gave him enough time to produce that pass. Still a brilliant shot. And all Faria could do was watch it go past him. What a chance now for Rublev.
Well, if he escapes from this game, it'll be something else.
15-14.
Talk about courage.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Whatever happens here today, Faria has discovered his true potential.
Yep.
He's hitting the ball. He is playing at such a high level here.
To see it, undiluted passion, and no one does that better than Rublev. Firecracker of a forehand just when he needed it, and that forces the issue in his favour.
Yeah, it's an elite forehand, isn't it? Cut the corner, took it early, ripped it, and look at that reaction.
And that was the release, not just of joy, but of patience. He has been so patient and been willing to take great shot after great shot, and respect that his opponent had found a different gear for a while. Faria's going to get back into this. He needs one of these next 2 points.
Lovely technique.
And in many ways, Faria needs to look at that point and go, that's how I need to play in the future. A ball that sits there, it's a point ender. Win or lose it, miss it as Rublev has, that has to be the right mindset.
Yeah. There's always the risk as well for Rublev. You know, we saw the reaction, we love to see it, but of a slight sort of come down afterwards. He let out so much emotion there.
And the ball toss would suggest that he's feeling just a little bit anxious about consolidating that break.
Oh.
15.
I like this from Rublev. He's one of the quickest players in the games between points, as well as in the point, but between points. And sometimes that can be to his, you know, disadvantage. When things get away from him, he rushes. Going to the towel, little word with the team, reset.
First serve's disappeared just when he wanted it. I wonder if that's his final chance. He did such a good job on the return, exactly what you'd love to see, and then the next shot just didn't put Rublev in any trouble at all.
Yeah, he didn't quite level up with it, did he? It's all or nothing now for Faria.
That's all. That's everything.
13-14.
Does that deter Rublev from taking the serve out wide? Does he go into that forehand? We've seen Faria block the forehand, return off a quick first serve down the tee. He went body.
And for me, that's another sign that he's controlling his emotions, he's thinking clearly under pressure. Again, taking his time here. This is good stuff from Rublev. Wasn't going to serve to the backhand again, was he, after the previous return on the juice court? Nice change up there.
Interesting from Rublev. He went big targets. He had lost his rhythm on his first serve, and he went big targets on the last three, and that has allowed him to move to within one game of the third round.
Time.
Jaime Faria is serving a stand, is back firmly against the wall. Complicated hold of serve for Rublev in the previous game. It'll be interesting to see how much he invests here on the return. Physical toll hasn't taken anything out of the Portuguese serve. Last couple of serves at 2:15. His fastest of the match, 2:19. He missed one on the second point at 2:20. Go big or go home. He's about to find out. In terms of average speeds, that might well be the quickest Faria's dropped in this match. Virtually every serve at 2:15 or higher. He's given himself one last chance to salvage this fourth set. He was looking a little on the edge in the last service game, managed to find a way through it, but his first double fault, another strong indicator that he is feeling the pressure of the moment to see off Faria. And out of absolute nowhere, with the finishing line right in front of him, Rublev with two double faults that hands Faria 2 break-back points. First one saved with some vintage Rublev play, serve and forehand. First ace of the set, his 5th overall. And back to the relative safety of Deuce. Great discipline from Rublev. It would have been easy to try and torch that one down the line. He's got the firepower to do so. But he offered up the opportunity for his opponent to miss. Faria did. Rublev with match point.
Let second serve. Advantage, Faria.
The absence of alternatives allowed him to narrow the focus. He had to make a winner. He did. What a response by Rublev to the pressure that has been somewhat self-inflicted in this game.
Advantage, Faria.
Настройся, все нормально, настройся, спокойно. Куда же? Тело право.
Just how will Rublev respond to that? The architect of his own demise in that service game, and Faria rises from the rubble, courtesy of Rublev. In a very complicated situation, a very simple outcome in the end with the overhead. And a remarkable turn of events, and for all the great tennis that he's played since the second set, it was his opponent that gave him the life jacket to survive. He was just trying to stay afloat, ran through his previous service game, and it'll be interesting to see once he's got out of the shade of the changeover whether he sticks to that plan as he looks to try and level up things here in the fourth. A lot of encouragement from Rublev's corner. Shinty Safin would have been in his shoes before, desperate to close out a match, unable to do so. But it went all around the grounds here at Melbourne Park on that last point, and credit to Rublev.
Lafferty.
Your next move matters more than your last mistake, and he has recovered his poise.
Tenta prima. Go vai, vamos. Dale.
Drop shot did 80% of the work, but he still had to be vigilant. He'll be trying to make sure that that is not the spark that lands in the tinderbox that sometimes it can be for Rublev. Definitely loitering around the emotional volcano. Hasn't fallen in yet.
Jaime Faria. 5 games on.
começar, bora.
He's turned that section of the Margaret Court Arena into believers still, the Portuguese fans. Given what he's just had to endure in the last 15 minutes, that arguably the best game that he's played so far, Rublev. 6-5, 4-set. Various emotions of both two players. That one is one of fortitude, little frailty in the one that we saw from Rublev, asking him how he's allowed Faria back into this match.
Time.
Rublev keen to get down the other end, back up into the returning position a little earlier than Faria and get himself ready to mount an assault on the Portuguese serve, rather than go through the ordeal of a tiebreaker here in the fourth. Faria shaking out the legs. Can Rublev shake off his opponent?
15-13.
Can he land the final dagger? Rublev reaches the third round in Melbourne once again. He was firmly the best player on court in the opening couple of sets. And then Jaime Faria dropped the guardrails, and he posed a significant threat to the chances for Rublev to get into the third round. He's desperate to reach the Holy Grail, which is a semi-final at a major. Maybe it will come here in Australia for Rublev. He maintained his composure. He had his clarity at the back end of that fourth set, and everything combining well for him to be able to set up a meeting with Francisco Cerundolo.